Proud to be on the utility committee over the last 3.5 years and to be placed in a position to oversee. Frankly, I saw the Energy Smart program coming up from the City Council and the NOLA WISE program coming from the Mayor's Office and Department of Energy, and I saw it was going to be a train wreck. Two great programs with similar aims and names, and I went to the mayor and I went to the council and said, we have got to have these programs work together. And it is because I did that and because they work together that they have been as successful as they have been with getting us jobs, energy efficiency, and we're rolling them, we merged them. I helped find the money to make them continue until they can be placed into the integrated resource plan, and it will not be through the City Council's budget that you'll have to pay for it, but through Entergy. It'll all be part of this integrated resource plan, and we give incentives to Entergy for them to increase those programs. Thank you.
Any further comments? Yes, Mr. Ward?
Both these programs are great. They've got benefits to them. They've helped a lot of people. The problem with those is they are a fairly generic program based on a national model, and they're not geared toward New Orleans. This is a beautiful building. It's very well insulated, fairly efficient, and a sealed box. New Orleans is not a city of sealed boxes. We're a city of houses that are old, that breathe, and there are easier and cheaper ways to tackle energy efficiency and cost of living here. Before you spend a lot of money on, say, insulation, what about putting a tree canopy up so that most houses don't endure 14 hours of direct sunlight every day?
We'll call time there. Thank you. Yes, Mr. Passo?
I'm an advocate of public transportation. I'm sure everybody in here understands that I'm preaching to the choir, but when we see people like the #1 public employee in the state cutting our light rail, that we had a chance to get this light rail from Baton Rouge to the airport to New Orleans, and Mr. Mayor is talking about this great airport, wouldn't that be great? Have we heard one word from the City Council about the fact that this governor cut that and did for his own agenda? The bus that took over 1 million people after Katrina from here to Baton Rouge, transportation for jobs, they cut that. Not one word. I want to have a proactive, transformative type of city council that calls out people that are doing the type of things that we know are wrong. And when RTA wants a rate hike, which they may, we need to sit down at the table to talk about what environmental and affordable energies can be with that rate hike.
Thank you. So the next question will deal with some of these drafty boxes, which Mr. Ward mentioned. With one of the oldest residential building stocks in the country, most New Orleans homes are, yes, shall we say, not so energy efficient. Since the launch of Energy Smart, more than 17,000 customers have benefited from installing efficiency measures. A recent national report shows that there are many more savings to be tapped. Knowing that customers will ultimately fit the bill, customers will be paying for the investments that lead to people to benefit from these programs. How would you reconcile the costs and benefits of investing further in energy efficiency versus a decision to build more power plants, get more electricity? And we'll start with table 2. So, Susan Guidry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. You did a very long question just now.
I did.
Try that again.
It's basically, I was actually speaking with Cynthia Hedge Morrell before the debate about how the revenues from Entergy can be split in various ways. And you can put them back into efficiency measures. These are investments. You know, it doesn't cost nothing to give people tax rebates and incentives to make their homes more energy efficient. Or you can give a rebate to consumers, or, you know, there's a decision to be made between trying to use less power, that's a certain amount of investment that goes into that, or paying to build more capacity, to build more power plants. So how do you see that balance for New Orleans between investing to save energy versus investing to increase the capacity to get more electricity if needed for the city? Does that make sense?
Yes, so I'm sure that there has to be a balance, and one of the ideas, the main purpose of the integrated resource plan, and this is the first time we've ever had one, is to look ahead 20 years and determine what our energy needs are and how we are going to fill those needs. Are we going to build more sources of power generation? Or are we going to save energy and reduce our demand for power? And if we do that, how do we keep our utility profitable? And so all of that has to be, it is taken, actually it took us 3 times to asking Entergy to file for a docket, file a plan for integrated resource plan. It took us 3 times. After 2 times, we finally said, okay, we give you 1 more year to do this, but we are going to have our advisors meet with you every quarter to help create this plan. So we've done that now, and we've looked forward 20 years, and we have to do a balance of increasing our generation, whether that's buying contracts, power contracts, whether that's buying into the combined gas, combined system at 9 Mile. We bought an option for 20% of that.
We will have to call it there.
Oh,
But devil in the
okay.
details. I'm sure you can
Yeah,
get the
sure,
details
sure.
later if you'd like.
If we're taking money out of your pocket that we don't need to be, and we give you a little bit back, that's not a rebate, that's not an investment, that's just playing Robin Hood and make you feel a little bit fuzzy and warm and happy about the fact that we didn't steal as much. Most of the money that's available for really improving your home, getting new windows, new things like that, the Hero Health Program and all that, a lot of that's federal and state money. Very little, there is some available, but not a lot locally. There are things we can do locally if we want to make the cost of living lower. I said one thing is to obviously restore a tree canopy, to take on approaches and to engage the universities and such to develop things that actually fit within our old drafty houses and all that, because they were actually designed originally as a fairly energy efficient setup. And those of us who live in those old houses, when we do have a hurricane and lose power, we're not quite as miserable as those who live in a newer house. There's a reason for that. There are technologies out there that would really help lower the cost of living in New Orleans and also lower the amount of energy we have to produce, such as district-based cooling and heating, where you send your pipes to your house and you just basically have a little fan versus having everyone have compressors sticking out the windows and in their backyards.
We'll
That's
have
what
to
it's
call it
cost.
there.
You know, Cynthia Willard-Lewis mentioned about Gary Gresh, and I told you about him. For people who don't know, again, he was part of the founding of this group, and when I came tonight, I actually thought there was going to be about 20 people here from the old days. That's how much that we had from starting from such a small place to now. You guys really are at the table, and now when your city councilman says, come to the table, we want you at the table. So I say to Energy, whatever profits, whatever issues, we're going to be at the table with people who know this, who spend their lives dealing with this. And in memory of Gary Gresh, I want to talk about these telephone poles and these wires underground. This is something that we've talked about, that we can do it. We have the technology. Every time the wind blows, we got to pull those, that the power goes out or trucks have to come in. Oh, you can't do it. You don't understand. Gary understood. A lot of people say we can do this. I'm ready to talk about that. Solar heating panels. You go down to the barracks between New Orleans and St. Bernard and you'll see solar panels all over the U.S. barracks. When I went to Virginia, I saw military bases all over this country have thousands of these solar panels. This is another one of these dirty secrets like Obamacare that it doesn't work. It works. But again, it's like, again, we just don't think we're going to make that much profit on that. So I just want to bring you guys to the table.
There's anything that is to make people more comfortable in their home, you find that they're being deterred by the government and by the chosen few people that say they sit on the board. We have a lot of people who are suffering at this time because the problem is there, but the money is not there. We need help with this money situation, and there's a lot of money that has been laying down that you all need. We need to do some serious investigating on where is this money going, that we can't have affordable energy to the fullest. Where is this money? We need this answer, not just a question, but an answer. This money is there and we need it.
Thank you. So we'll have up to 3 additional comments on this, the balance between energy efficiency measures and increasing capacity, building more power plants. Yes, Mr. Gordon.
Okay. You have to be realistic about how this is happening right now. I didn't really hear anything said previous about this is New Orleans. We have a lot of old homes that aren't going to change. That's just how it is. We can sit up here and talk all you want about how people are going to change their homes. They're not. Okay, so be realistic about that. Small little things, changing bulbs, things of that nature. You're not going to have historic homes change their windows. It's just not going to happen. So you can sit here and talk about it. be realistic. If you're gonna go ahead and make more power, let's go ahead and innovate. That's the whole point. We have Mississippi River right there. You want a power plant, you have a natural resource that is moving all the time. Focus on making more power for cheaper, and then be realistic that we're not gonna go back in time and rebuild houses 100 years ago
We'll call
to
it
meet
there.
standards now. Thank you.
Any additional comments? Yes, Ms. Clarkson?
Well, Ms. Guidry said it all, but I'd like to just add a repeat of what we each have said. No other city in America has given $200 million in savings.